Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, your sanctuary with retreat experts, where we spill the tea on retreat success. Here we dive into crafting transformational guest experiences, talk about how to avoid pitfalls, and unlock marketing secrets. Whether you're a seasoned guru or a budding enthusiast, we've got the inside scoop for you. Join us as we learn how to flourish in this magical world of retreats. Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. I am Shannon, and I have such an exciting guest today. We got to catch up a little bit before we hit the record button, and I am so intrigued to dig really deep into what you're doing. So welcome, Andrew, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Shannon. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, I am so excited to dig into what you guys are doing, you and your team. But first, will you just tell everyone who you are and kind of what brought you here? And then we will dig into what you're doing today.
Absolutely. So, like you said, my name's Andrew. I'm the co-founder of a company called Beon, and we're a digital holistic wellness platform company. So building services and tools for practitioners, coaches, mentors, advisors as a means of helping them engage with their clients. And most importantly, not lose their value or impact as they're doing that. I think we've realize there's tens of thousands of apps out there, but the moment you start using them, they kind of put you in a box. And what we're trying to say is enough of that. It's time to really ensure that practitioners and coaches can bring their true nature to the digital realm, given that we're in a digital, physical world today. So that's what we're doing with Beon, and love to share more with you about it.
Okay, awesome. So this is where I'm super excited because we've talked, at least on this program, I think I've talked about this. If not, I'm going to have to add it to my list up. But we've talked about kind of, we'll call it supporting our clients post-retreat, right? Some people call it selling, add-ons, additional programs, whatever may be the case. It's both. It's all those things. It's supporting our clients once they leave the retreat and they're fired up and they're wanting to make changes and they're wanting the extra tools. And so you can support them while also growing your business. So talk to me practically about how your digital platform helps support our clients once they leave a retreat.
Absolutely. So this I think is really a defining capability for us, because what we've tried to do is focus on putting the individual at the center of it all. And I know that probably sounds foreign, but it is, I think, critical to success within life. And the ability for practitioners and coaches, retreat owners to really engage with that individual is a fundamental aspect of what we see, how relationships can support it. So when you're thinking about, a retreat, we recognize there's a start and an end to it, from being in the same place, having the same energy, all the excitement around what's about to happen, could happen, I guess the options are limitless. And we don't want you to lose that when they leave the retreat. I think we oftentimes see that that's the case. And so what we've built with Beon and the Beon platform is an ability for retreat owners to, first and foremost, create this unique journey, digitalize their value, their impact, really bring it to the web in a way that allows them to be them. I'm a technology person, but you know how to run retreats better than I do. But help you bring that to the digital realm. The second part of that is help you run the retreat, like creating the visibility. Like I'm all about digital detox moments, and I'm sure we could talk about that. So it's not like we're all of a sudden gluing an iPad to everybody's hand during a retreat, but being able to at least have that visibility and that structure in there so it feels like a comprehensive experience for the individual. And then post-retreat. So this is an exciting thing for me where retreat owners, coaches, practitioners, you can set up this journey that I was talking about, but then you can leave it with the individual afterwards. They hold on to it for the rest of life or until they decide to, move on to it or evolve into something else. And that for me, I think is unique in two ways. One, it allows you to extend your reach and your relationship out of that particular moment in time. And two, it allows your IP to extend with that as well. So the individual just doesn't drop off. And I've, talked with a lot of practitioners about this. This is really a space where we say, look, relationships sometimes ebb and flow. And if we can help, through the peaks and the valleys, just keep the conversation going, when they come back to work with you again, you're already connected with them and what they're trying to do. and they're able to provide feedback right into you. So this ability to just leave it with them and they don't lose access to it is a big deal for us.
Agreed, totally. Hey, retreat leaders. Are your retreats the hidden gems of the travel world just waiting to be discovered? Well, it's time to shine a spotlight on them. Introducing the ultimate guide you've been waiting for, our free guide, Top 11 Tips for Building an Email List for you, the retreat leaders. Imagine an email list packed with eager attendees, hanging on to your every word and ready to book at the click of a button. We share the blueprint to creating a list that sells. Don't miss out on the action. Learn how to connect deeply with your audience, boost your bookings, and create a buzz that fills every retreat. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, these 11 tips are your secret weapon to success. Visit retreatleaderlistbuilding.com now to grab your free copy and start building an email list that sells out your retreats. And now you've really got me intrigued because now you're talking about the fact that we can use this platform during our retreats and then continue it on. Let me ask you this. You talked about building a journey.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? Just an example. I know you can't describe it fully because it varies by practitioner and by coach and by what the goals are, I'm sure, but give me an idea of what a journey what it would entail.
Absolutely. So, I think this goes back to some of the things you've talked about in previous podcasts about the why of an individual, their purpose, their motivations. And I'm going to call those are the macro activities, but journeys are really where it comes to life. And journey, there, you could have 10, 20 journeys going on at one time. And we could talk about prioritization and all of that here separately. But a journey is really looking to take a specific macro action on something you're trying to improve upon yourself or a new experience you want to go through. It's really about grouping it into an experience and that activity, that macro activity. And so a journey for a practitioner is two things. I'm going to say templatize it. And I know that sounds, oh man, boring. But the idea that, you're trying to create this repeatable process for yourself that you also want to make sure is a consistent experience for your retreat attendees. And so this journey template allows you to say, well, here are the things we're going to talk about. Maybe I want you to reflect more on your why. So let's put a vision out there that I can work with you on to say, well, what do you want to accomplish out of this retreat, given what we're planning to do? And then I can work with you to define exercises. So things that would help you get deeper into that vision. I could work with you to talk about objectives, things you want to get out of the retreat or even post-retreat, because that's something we're talking about. Not everything has to happen immediately. I can talk about practices and activities that you can embed into your day-to-day life. So as you're going through the retreat, some of these things are going to come up over time. It's not just an all at the beginning and then, see the results at the end, but part of this is about growth. And so understanding, what practices you currently have in play, the priority of those, the activities you have going on, being able to influence that through the journey of the retreat. And then subsequently being able to, I'm going to say, track and measure it, for lack of better words, is how progress is occurring after the fact. And so you're able to build this whole template and journey that allows you to visualize all that in place of maybe paper, if you've done that traditionally that way, or through other apps that might have you putting something in Google Drive and another thing in Form and, destroying the user experience. I'll leave with one comment here, and is what we see is 90% of individuals, especially in the US, will jettison a practitioner, a coach, a mentor, and the relationship there when they have a poor digital experience. And so the more we can help enhance that experience and, have it be progressive throughout the entire, I'll say, relationship from start through finish and beyond, is really the essence of what we're trying to build.
Awesome. So question, kind of logistical question. I have thousands of guests that I've worked with over the years. Is this more client-led as far as in my mind, I'm like, I can't see myself trying to update these platforms and their journeys. And I'm already kind of feeling a little bit excited and then a little bit overwhelmed. And so tell me, is it more client-led? Is it more practitioner-led? how much work is involved for a retreat leader versus client led. Does that make sense?
100%. And I'm going to say, like, this has got to be client led. I think this is where it's important to see like your intellectual property, your value, the impact that you're trying to bring as a retreat owner through that experience is what we're trying to marry up with all this data, so to say, of who the individual is and what they want to be and where they want to go. But it's them. And so it has to be client led, but we can create context in that by marrying it up with how you see the flow of the retreat occurring and the activities that you're having them or the exercises you're having them do during the retreat. So our goal here is not to overload the practitioner by any means, but like I said, create the ability for you to standardize it and like roll it out in a way that it's repeatable for you, and use those repeatable processes, those repeatable items. So as you're engaging with Sam or Jan or Simon, whoever, during your retreat, maybe you pull it up, maybe you don't, maybe it's an activity they do after the fact, but they can go in and they have a place to work on it. They have a place to reflect and add the items that you talked about and not lose it. So it has to be client driven. It's theirs.
Okay. No, yeah, I love that. So what I'm picturing, and tell me if I'm wrong, is like most retreat hosts have a workbook or they've got workshops or activities, journaling sessions, mindfulness activities, just, all those different types of things. You're saying we can preload what we have in this platform and then assign things during the retreat or let them continue it after the retreat. And then we can be, if we want, I think, be responsive to each person that continues to want to grow themselves.
Well said. You totally hit the nail on the head there. I mean, the idea here is put as much into the journey as you possibly can, because inevitably it's something you're leaving with them afterwards. So the more that we can just put it in that one space is critical. The second thing here to highlight is we talk about different experiences within the platform is, without getting too detailed, one is a guided experience. So this idea that you go through and you understand the journey, you work on the journey and integrate it into your life, and then you reflect on it and come back full circle. But then the other part of it is kind of more like a form aspect of it, where it's like, here's all the things I'm going to give you. And I can kind of structure it to have you go through that flow. But there's just so much I want you to consume or use or leverage during or after that it's easier just to give it to you in a more structured format. So kind of guided or structured. I guess guided, still structured, but in a different way. It's just different experiences. And we're always looking at how we can refine that or even add other experiences that would be beneficial for individuals really to get after things in their journeys.
Hey, it's Shannon here. I'm just popping in really quickly to ask a big favor. Would you pause the show and go review it for us? Please. Reviews really help us to be able to get more guests and more experts on the show to help you transform your retreats. So if you wouldn't mind pausing and leaving us a review, that would mean everything. And if you're not already subscribed, do that too. So I really love this. Like, this would have been something powerful for me when my day job, quote unquote, used to be a mental health therapist. And then I held retreats. And so I could see how that would be such a powerful tool to continue that conversation, continue that relationship, and possibly develop it into a therapeutic relationship, or for many people who are listening, more of a coaching relationship. We do have therapists who do try to, get into the retreat realm, and they could use this tool as well. But I'm really seeing how it could be so powerful for coaches or anyone who wants to continue building upon what they built at the retreat.
Yes. And I mean, I'm a facts person because I'm an engineer by trade and whatnot. But if you think about the amount of time you spend with an individual as a coach, a practitioner, mentor, it's about like 1% of life at most. Like in a given week, it's literally like 1% if you have an hour with them. And so 99% of the time is where the outcomes are going to occur. And so if we can enhance the experience when you're with your clients then we can create richer outcomes after the fact. Because instead of having to catch up for the first 15 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on how long the session is. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, but instead of trying to figure out what all transpired and the individual trying to recollect for the last month or whatever it might be since the last conversation, is we can get into a rhythm of integrating this into different parts of our life, whether it's daily or weekly, like it's kind of a personal choice. Then as they capture feedback, we have multiple ways of feedback like journaling, and we call them pulse checks, but it's not just a form to say, well, tell me if you did these 5 activities you said you're going to do, because everybody says yes. But we actually focus on the emotional side of it, because we can discern so much more from that by saying, well, for one, digital detox moments. But for two, when was the last time you laughed? I mean, I didn't come up with that, but I loved listening to just the power of laughter in life. And so if you haven't laughed since the last time you checked in with us, well, let's talk, because there might be some underlying things to address. And sometimes practitioners and coaches miss out on that because the data is so rigid. Yes, I did it. No, I didn't. I do, 10 drinks a week. Well, it's all variable and it's so specific to the individual. And that's what we're trying to recognize here is we can get into that hyper-focused, understanding of the individual, but with the ability for them, to feel that there's trust and ownership in their data and what they're putting in.
Love it. And it makes so much sense, Andrew, what you were saying, where we do live in a digital world. I know that there's people out there who are like, they want to escape that. That's maybe one of even the purposes of the retreat, which is totally fine. I still think this can be super complementary, even still during the retreat and then post the retreat. And I'm blown away because it's like, why has no one ever done this before? And I'm sure you're thinking, I'm so glad we did. because we are, everything's digital, everything. Let's be honest, everything from the medications to our banking to you can't honestly think of anything that's not digital these days or doesn't have the potential to be. Even ordering groceries, you know what I mean? Like everything, farmers use technology now, everything. And so I'm just loving the fact that, you guys are figuring out a way for coaches and practitioners and retreat leaders to take their information that's in their head and their heart and put it in a platform that makes it accessible.
Absolutely. And, to your point, I think there are moments where we have to disconnect. Like I'd be remiss to say that. And I think as a platform, as the CEO of the company and a co-founder of this, it's so important for us because I've gone through these waves myself. I've experienced things in different ways from others. In fact, like my co-founder, Stacy, part of what brought her into this was her totally different reason for struggling and looking for something like this. So we each kind of have this path, and it's important to kind of not only recognize it, but also then to start doing something about it. And I loved one of the things you just said was around accessibility. I think this too often is lost on the idea that platforms today are trying to monetize every aspect of who you are. And I'm just going to say it straight up. We don't, and we never will. It'll take for lack of better words, a shareholder decision to say, look, we're just going to start, making money off of who you are. So we've put so many controls into place to say, that's not who we are. That's not what we've built. That's not what we want to build. And, I'm here to try to build trust in this idea that we can start making the changes that I think most of us desire around privacy and control today. It just takes intentionality to do it.
Hey guys, I'm popping in to ask a quick question. Are you ready to elevate your marketing game and fill those retreat slots faster than ever? Of course you are. That's why you're here. And we've got the toolkit for you. Our top 5 marketing tools for retreat leaders guide. This isn't just a guide. It's your marketing guru wrapped up in one easy to follow package. Dive into the essentials of social media marketing, where we show you how to leverage those platforms to create a community buzzing with excitement for your retreats. Also, unleash the power of content marketing with strategies that educate and engage your potential guests. Plus, we'll dive into email marketing, SEO, and partnership opportunities that open new doors and bring in streams of attendees. So why wait to make your retreats the talk of the town? Download your free guide today by visiting retreatmarketingtools.com and start transforming your retreat dreams into reality. I think that goes across all aspects of our lives now. It always has, but as we've become more fast-paced and more media controlled or media frenzied or whatever may be the case, just becoming more intentional about what things you let into your life and what things that you decide to access. So I love that so much. Andrew, if somebody wanted to find out more, what would they do? And I will have everything linked in the show notes, but let us know what they would do if they wanted to find out more.
So we just revised our website here. So if you go to Beon, Beon platform.com, you can find all the information about how we're looking to integrate this into careers with organizations, how we're working with practitioners, and even directly with what we're excited that's going to be coming here live soon for individuals directly. So that's where we keep all our information. But you can also follow us. Our handles Beon Platform, LinkedIn, Instagram are our two big ones. And just, connect with us. We try to put as much out there so that you can see what we're doing. We've put our roadmap out there, so we're transparent about it. We really see this as an opportunity to bring the community together and create this new way of looking at life and how technology can support it.
Love it. Okay, like I said, everyone, everything will be linked in the show notes. Thank you so much, Andrew, for being on the show. I'm super excited to explore what you guys have built.
Oh, thank you so much, Ann, for having us and the opportunity to share it with your listeners. And I hope that we'll be able to talk some more with some others about how this can change the world.
Thanks for listening to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. Learn more at www.theretreatranch.com. See you next time.